Hello, welcome back to my Let's Play Thaumcraft 2015 series. So I want to work on the wand focus of equal trade, and we're going to need to do some alchemy to get that working for us. And in order to help us out, I am going to enhance our alchemical furnace setup so that I can pipe Essentia right from the alembics into these warded jars. So warded jars allow us to store liquid Essentia, just like the glass phials do, but you can place them in the world and they hold 64 of an aspect rather than just 8. And it's very easy to transfer back and forth between jars and phials. So I'm going to place these jars. I'm going to start out with 1, 2, 3, 4... I think I have enough for 5. I ran out of V in my wand, so I think I have enough to place 5 of these jars right now. So to make the jars, open up the Thaumcraft and go to the Alchemy tab, onto Warded Jars and Labels, and you should have that open just from the beginning. Maybe you need Essentia distillation first, but you'll have it by now, if you followed my series anyway. So, it's just glass panes and slabs with 1 aqua and an arcane workbench. Pretty simple recipe. I made 8 jars, but I didn't have enough V to get the piping system for 8 jars, so we'll start with 5 and I'll add to it later. Now, for the piping system, there are these Essentia tubes. Essentia tubes are iron, glass, gold nuggets, and quicksilver drops. You get 8 of them with this recipe with 5 aqua and 5 ordo. So I made, I think, 32 of those. And then I've got also the Essentia valves, which is just an Essentia tube and a lever with 5 more aqua and ordo. So valves are a shutoff for the pipes, and the pipes simply transfer. Now, you cannot put more than 1 type of V, or Essentia, into a pipe. If you do, you get an Essentia conflict, and things don't flow out properly. So, I don't know what the best or most compact system is, but generally what I do is I put a valve on each of my arcane alembics. And if you take a hand, right-click, it's closed. Now it's open. So, they start out being open when you first place them. My first step is to close them to make sure we don't get any V conflicts. You need to use the valves to close off your piping network to make sure you don't get a conflict. If you get a conflict, you've got to fix it, or you can't transfer your Essentia. And because of the way the pipes ended up working out, I could not place a jar right there, as I would like to, because I have the valves here, and then they've got to go somewhere. They've all got to connect down the line. And if I have a open valve there, or an open pipe there, it would go into this jar every time there was a jar there. So I have to leave a space there, unfortunately. Then we're going to have a valve on each one of our jars. And it can't go through here if they're closed. And I want to make sure that they are closed. So we need to put piping on top of them as well. So, not the most efficient system. It's very early game Thaumcraft, and between Thaumcraft 4.0 and 4.1, Azenor changed how the pipes work to make it, what's a good word? Annoying? Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with annoying because, no, that's unfair. It's just a bit more realistic, I guess I should say. You shouldn't be able to have just all kinds of Essentia flowing, they just know where to go. So he balanced the recipe to make it more complicated but more realistic. So now that everything is shut off, I could use my alchemical furnace to start cooking things up. So what do I want to cook up? Well, the items that we're going to need for the wand focus of equal trade are balanced shards. And I believe that's in, let's see here, I think it's in alchemy, basic alchemy. Yeah. Any kind of shard into a crucible will get you a balanced shard. And you need 2 of each aspect that isn't in the shard itself. Based on the amount of shards that I have, I'm going to use order shards. It's also based on what I can get to get liquid Essentia. And I have the least amount of items that give Ordo for Essentia. So that's just how that worked out. Ordo Essentia is a bit hard to come by. Generally you get it from lead in modded Minecraft, or there's some Railcraft items that give it to you. Other than that, Order shards, I haven't found a lot that has Ordo. If you have a good idea of what you can get Ordo from, I would love to hear from that in the comments, because I'm having trouble getting it. So that's what we're going to do for this. So to get the other aspects, I'm going to hook up cobblestone for Perdicio, netherrack for Ignis, sugarcane for aqua and air, and there's terra in both cobblestone and netherrack. So that's the other 5 aspects. So I'm going to put the alimentum in the furnace and start cooking things up. And I think this 1 piece of alimentum should do for everything I'm trying to get. I hope that's the case. So here we go. There's aqua in here. So I'm going to let the aqua go into this jar. So open up this jar and open up this pipe. There we go. We see aqua effects. Aqua's in the jar. And you can tell that because I'm wearing the goggles of revealing. If I want to mark this jar for aqua and only allow aqua in here, I can use a jar label. There we go. This is only aqua. That helps for other things as well. We'll talk about that later. They are a pretty simple recipe. In fact, you can just make them in a regular crafting table. It's just slime ball, black dye, and 4 pieces of paper. It's shapeless. Alright, that's all of that. Let me put the netherrack in here. I'm going to close off this valve and close off this jar, and we'll get something else. Like, I don't need herba, but I do need air. So let's open up this valve and open up this air alembic, and we'll let that flow out. You sometimes need to wait for this gaseous effect to stop going before you can figure out if it's working or not. Sometimes that can indicate a conflict, but hopefully it doesn't. So, closing off this, and I'm going to close off this. Now we are closed for air. Let's see here. The netherrack, oh, that was in the wrong place. That was a mistake. Alright. Let's see here. So, I've got Terra in here, Ignis in here, so let's start moving the Ignis next. I'll open up this jar. I'll open up this valve. Yeah, it seems to stop whenever it does that effect, but it doesn't always mean a conflict. Mark this jar as Ignis. Did I show the recipes for the tubing? I don't think I did. So, in the Thaumcraft, let me wait for that to be done, and then I'll put the cobblestone in there. Okay, in the Thaumcraft, I'll go ahead and close off. Aha, there's something interesting. This has become a Terra jar. So we let all the Ignis flow out. This is Terra now. That's where the rest of my Terra, or my Ignis, isn't in there. So I'll close that and open this and drain that out. I can close that, and I'll close that, and I will let this open up, and now we'll let Terra flow into there. Alright, so now the piping, alchemy tab, Essentia tubes, iron, glass, quicksilver drops, and gold nuggets. Oh, maybe I did cover this. I'm not sure. Whatever. Aqua and Ordo, and the Arcane Workbench, you get 8 tubes. To make the valves, it's a tube with a lever, 5 more Aqua and Ordo. So, pretty simple to make the tubing. Quicksilver you get by smelting cinnabar ore, and these drops you get 9 to 1, just like you do ingots and nuggets. Let's see here. If you shift right click, you can take the label back if it's on the wrong side of the jar. Alright, let's see here. So, close this and open this up. Oh, that's herba. My mistake. We won't get a conflict because this jar is open. So right now the system is pulling for Terra. Terra is in the system, so we can't get a conflict right now. It's only if 2 things happen at the same time while it's not pulling for something. A warded jar with a label pulls for its substance, basically. So that's why we didn't get a conflict when I opened that pipe. I meant to open this pipe. There we go, that's flowing out. Now that jar might be full now, and in fact it is. So I'm going to close this valve. I'm going to close this as well. And I'm hoping that there's no earth stuck in here, because that might end up causing us a conflict. So let's just see what happens. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, so there should be one more primal aspect in here, and there it is, my Perdicio. So I want it to go in the last jar. Ah, but no, there was earth still in there. Did I have that still open? No, I did not. So yes, there was still some Terra left in the system. So that's kind of a problem. That would be how we would have got a conflict if I opened that Perdicio. So how am I going to get this Terra into this jar? Well, it's not too hard actually. All we have to do is make some space for that jar. I'll get a glass file. I'm going to make sure all my valves are closed. They do appear to be closed. A labeled jar will always pull from an unlabeled jar of the same aspect. So we're going to open this valve and we're going to take some of this out of here. I get that, and you can see it drains right into this jar. Perfect. So now I can close this valve, leave this one open, leave that one closed, and now I should be able to drain the Perdicio into this jar. And yes, that is working. Perfect. There we go, Perdicio in this jar. So, I didn't have enough jars to empty everything completely. I've got a bit more Terra, so I might as well pull more Terra out of here. And then we'll open that back up and let all the Terra flow in. So close the Perdicio jar. Close that top valve. Open the Terra. And that's also Terra, so I'll open that one. And I'll open this to pull the Terra in. And there we go. They're all pulling in here. I think we ended up with 96 Terra. But okay, so all that's left is the herba left over, so I'll just take that out with these since I have no more jars. And I'm going to close off my system. I want to make sure there are no possibilities of conflicts. Alright, there we go. That's the basics of Essentia tubing and warded jars. So let me go make sure I have what I need to make balanced shards alchemically, and I'll be back in a flash. Okay, I've got everything we need for our balanced shards. So back in the Thaumanomicon on the Alchemy tab in Basic Alchemy, we go into the third page, Balanced V Shards. You throw a shard as the activator into a crucible which has the other 5 aspects. 2 of each one plus the shard gives you a balanced shard. Each file has 8, so we've got 4 of these shards. That's enough to get us 4 balanced shards. So here we are at the crucible. Aqua, air, ignis, terra, perditio, shards. 4 balanced shards. Perfect. Scan that real quick. There we go. So now all we have to do is make that wand focus of equal trade. So in our Thaumanomicon on Thaumaturgy tab, over on Basic Wandcraft, there's Wand Foci. And I know a lot of people want to say foci here. In America, I have always heard foci. Merriam-Webster agrees with me, and that's good enough for me. I'm going to keep saying foci. That's just how I'm going to say it. So wand foci, or a wand focus, enables you to do different things with your wand. The basic focus is the fire focus. It lets you spew fire from your wand and damage mobs. I've never thought it to be all that great of an attack system, but I'll make one of these soon and show you what it's like. There are also shock and frost, which do thunder damage and ice damage, obviously. So, the wand focus that I'm interested in right now is the wand focus of equal trade. It enables you to easily trade one material for another. Alright, so we need 4 balanced shards, some nether quartz, and quicksilver. Not a drop, but full quicksilver. Looks like we need ordo, perditio, and terra in our wand. Let's see here. No ordo there. How much ordo did we need? Looks like 15, so I'm going to have to go charge my wand before I can do this. So, let me go do that, and I'll come back and make the wand focus of equal trade. Back in a flash. Alright, I was able to charge my wand in one of the nearby aspect nodes. It's not full, but I've got enough to at least demonstrate the concept. So back in our arcane work table, I'll put my wand back in here. Quicksilver in the middle. I think it's like this, and the shards on the outside. Yep, there we go, a wand focus of equal trade. Put my Great Wood wand back in there. And scan our focus. Alright, so if you hit F on your keyboard, you can choose your wand focus. And it also uses the V in your wand. Ordo, Perditio, and Terra. Looks like 0.05 per cast. Or in other words, 0.5 for each block you want to use. Shift F takes it off the wand if you want to get rid of that focus. F to put it on. Shift F to take it off. Alright, so how do we use this thing? Basically, we click on a block we want to change. Like, I'm going to go change my iron tank room to be all marble. So let's click on this stone. Right click. Is that correct? Let me check that real quick because that didn't seem to work. Sneak and right click. Okay, sorry. So shift right click. You can see up in the top left, stone is now selected. That does not seem right to me either. Oh, okay. Alright. Alright, hang on, I've forgotten some things. Okay. We want to choose the block we want to change blocks into. So, I want it to become this marble. So shift right click the marble. You can see it tells me I've got 63 in my inventory right now. So I know I'm using marble now. If I want, I can left click to swap that for the marble. And you're probably thinking, well, that's nice, but is it really that helpful? Yes, it is. Because there's another trick you can do. It's either shift left click or, let's see here, just right click. So right click alone will transform every nearby block of that kind into your desired block. Now that's going to make it a lot easier. Now, it may have stopped because it ran out of area to look for. It doesn't go through the whole thing. It just goes a couple blocks out from where it is. And it doesn't matter if they're up here to the left or even, as you can see, down on the floor. It keeps going. So, let's try this dirt here. Looks like it's just the area. So, how much V do I have left? Actually, I still have quite a bit of ordo, so I might be able to do this entire room. Now, I believe that it works by breaking this block. So, yeah, that cobblestone, or that stone I transformed, is cobblestone, not smooth stone. So, it's just like having a pickaxe. I'm going to break it and replace it, but you do it in place. So, left click to do one, right click to do a bunch, shift right click to choose your block. The wand focus equal trade is one of my is my absolute favorite thing from Thaumcraft. So, I don't know, not sure I'm liking to look at this marble as well as I thought it would. I thought it would go well with the white tank, but I'm thinking about changing my mind now. So, we'll see. Anyway, I'll probably run out of ordo before I change everything. But next episode, hopefully I can come back and show you a nice, pretty basement that's been all transformed. So I definitely want the Thaumcraft room to look different than the regular basement and to look different than the iron tank room. So I'll see how it goes and pick something. And I'll show you the results of that in the next episode. For now, see you next time.